Hello, welcome to TRDR.tv. My name is Robert Sievers, and today we are here joined with Kirk Du Plessis from OptionAlpha.com. How are you doing today, Kirk?
Good, man. How are you guys doing?
Doing very, very well. It's good to meet you.
Yeah.
Um, so let's get a little bit started. Let's hear a little bit about yourself. So I got a couple questions about kind of where you used to work before you started up Option Alpha.
Cool.
I read on your LinkedIn that you used to work at Dutch Bank in mergers and acquisitions. You also did a little bit of real estate investment trust research analysis and some mortgage planning. So, can
Yep.
you tell me a little bit about kind of how that helped you build like a solid foundation for becoming a trader, or how you kind of ended up moving from that to becoming a trader?
Yeah, I guess it all starts back. Like I went to the right schools, went to a top school in the States here, made the right connections, thought I wanted to work on Wall Street and like do the whole Wall Street thing. So, I mean, I guess everyone when I was graduating in, college was everyone was being an investment banker, right? So I was like, okay, cool, I want to do that. Like,
Yeah.
everyone's doing that. So, all right, I'll do that. And so I got up there and had some time at Deutsche Bank and got to work in M&A, which was really great. Like you see the side of the business that people can't talk about until things go public, right? So like you understand what CEOs are thinking and what they're doing with their companies and how they're splitting things off. But at the same time, like for me, it was just like a total drain. Like you're working 80, 100-hour weeks.
Wow.
And at the time I was dating my wife, right? And she was like, well, it's either New York or me, right? So like I made the smart decision and decided it was her. And so moved to
Good
DC where
choice.
we used to live for a while, and got into the REIT space. So like my family's been in the real estate business in one way or another for forever, right? Like I remember
Okay.
going to open houses when I was a kid as like a vacation. So I got into the REIT space because I wanted to see kind of what the other side of the Chinese wall was, right? Like so I was on the private side with M&A, and
Yeah.
then I decided, like, okay, let's do the REIT side of it. Like I want to be an analyst. I want to see, kind of like what other people do. And it was really enlightening on that side too, because now you're a public person, like asking questions to CEOs and CFOs, right? Like now you're not, working on their side, like trying to sell a division or split up their company or buy somebody. Now you're working on the other side.
Exactly.
And now you're doing the valuations. And at the end of the day, though, I figured out like, most of that stuff is like crap. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, like it's crap. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like we would have like our managing director come in, for the company I work for, and he'd be like, "Oh, well, what's your valuation on this company?" Right? And like, I'd say my valuation on this company is X, and they'd like, "Well, maybe you need to adjust like your future forecast of revenue, or like, what you think costs are growing at." It's like I could make the company be worth anything that I freaking said it wanted. Like, I wanted to be right. Like at the end of the day, like
Yeah.
I could make top line revenue grow at 5% versus 4. Like it didn't matter to me. So at the end of the day, like I figured out like, that wasn't the business I wanted to see myself in, kind of long term. And so actually kind of like when I was in New York and transitioning out of New York is when I really started Option Alpha. And that started actually, it's like just a blog where I would like talk about what I was doing. Right.
Okay.
And so it's been 8 years now that we've had it. And,
Wow.
and so most of it, that time has just been a blog, like, just my thoughts and posting my trades and stuff like that. It wasn't until about 2 years ago that I really kind of like took it as a serious, like business and really try to help people. Like I'm either going to do it half ass or not, right? Like and do
Yeah.
it full on. So about 2 years ago is when I started to really, kind of take my own money and really like invest in technology and training and resources and all that stuff that we have now. So for me, that's kind of been like the main progression. And I think in my eyes, I like the fact that I've been able to see like truly both sides of the spectrum. Like I've talked to CEOs and CFOs and like I know what they think heading into an earnings event and like where they see like numbers going like and all of that stuff like still doesn't even matter related to the stock price. Like I've talked to CEOs before an earnings event and I knew and they knew that they were going to have a really great quarter and the stock just tanks because everyone assumes, like that they were going to have an even better quarter than they had, right? Like so
Yeah. It's all about the
at the end of the day,
expectations. So.
yeah, it's at the end of the day, it is a lot of like random action that happens in the market. And I think that's what I really learned like on a very deep level, I guess working where I worked before.
Okay. No, so I appreciate that. You kind of got a little bit of an idea of kind of how the inner workings of both of the sides really are, the
Yeah,
analytic side and the executive side as well. So
right.
thank you for that. And my next question was it was basically going to be like You answered it a little bit in your last question, actually, or in your last answer, actually. But it was how difficult was it? Because I saw that you also started OptionAlpha around 2007. So that was going to be my next question: was how much interest did you really see over the next couple of years in OptionAlpha? Because obviously we had the subprime loan crisis, and so I can imagine that there wasn't very much interest in the stock market during 2007, 2008, 2009. So that was my next question: was how did those first 3 years go, and how did you decide that this was kind of something that you wanted to stick to?
Yeah, I think the question is like I was always interested in options. So when I was in New York, I got a chance. Like Deutsche Bank is really good because they allow you to like do rotations, right? So like I got a rotation on a derivatives trading desk, which is where I officially got my like I don't know if you want to start like introduction to like that side of the business, right? Like I learned about options, in school and you learn about that stuff in textbooks, but then when you actually like see what they do, it's a lot different,
The
right?
technical application
So
is kind of
yeah, the technical application's so different.
yeah.
So during that time, I think it's interesting because I think the whole options market in particular, right? Like, and I can't speak to everybody else, but the options market has grown like almost every year, right? And maybe it's grown every single year. And I think more and more people are realizing that there's a different way to trade, and that doesn't mean that you have to be a full-blown options trader, right? But it means that you can do a covered call and kind of protect your position, or do a collar and protect some of the downside with no cost. Like there's different ways to use options to protect and hedge and even enhance if you wanted to your portfolio. So for me, in that time period, I think everyone had a blog, and still everyone does have a blog, right?
Yeah.
So like you kind of get lost in translation. And I've never been the kind of guy like with Option Alpha, and like my members know this now, like we don't do any advertising on the site. Like I've never just believed in that. Like I want people to come there and see, just who I am, what I've got. And if they like it, great, they stay. If not, they leave and they tell their friends. So like that's how we've grown from the beginning. So for me, I never really, I didn't really expect a lot in the beginning. But I've definitely seen that just options interest across the board from different people that we have come on and members I talk to has really expanded. I mean, even the last like 3 years, like the types of people that we're getting that are coming on board are totally different than I would have expected 3 years ago.
Okay. Interesting. Thank you for that. Yeah, because I was also reading on. I mean, I agree with you that I think your website looks very clean, which is part of the reason. I think a lot of people kind of come to it. You avoid the advertising. I also saw on your page that you have around 26,000 members now,
Yeah.
and I think almost 33,000 people reading it. So obviously, you're doing something right. And so I think. In my personal opinion, a lot of that has to do with the fact that a lot of your material is up on Option Alpha for free. I mean, I was amazed when I went to the homepage and I saw how much
I don't.
of that. I mean, I think that there was 183 free videos. I think I did
I don't get it.
actually did the
Yeah,
calculation. So it's
right, and I don't get it. And like we've got like 1,000 free videos on YouTube and like all this stuff. Like I still don't get why people in this business. And like again, I'm approaching this and have from day one. Like this is how I would want to be approached, and like how I approach other businesses, especially in the finance space. I mean, for God's sakes, even more so in the trading space, because there's so many people out there who are doing like really shady crap.
Yeah.
Like I want people to see everything that I have totally free, right? Like so for me, I put everything free up there, all my training, all the courses, all the PDF downloads, like you name it, everything is free up there. Because if people go through all of that training and then realize options trading is not for them, great. Like they went through the training. If they go through it and they realize, okay, maybe they want like the extra step, then okay, they can sign up for like an elite membership. But for me, like I'm education first. I would rather people know exactly what the hell they're getting into first without having to pay $2,000 to go through a freaking training course,
Yeah.
right? Like it like blows my mind some of the prices that these companies charge for training that I think is subpar.
No, I think it inspires a lot of confidence that you have so much of that information up for free. And yeah, you were right. I think there's like 4 or 5, or 3 or 4 YouTube videos updated to uploaded to YouTube every week. That are for free. But
Every day.
I think yeah, sorry, yeah, and I think.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of what it has is it inspires a lot of confidence, that you put so much of your content up there. It obviously means that you're doing well enough on your stocks and on your actual options that you don't necessarily need the money 100%. Yes, obviously, you're probably making a little bit with 26,000 members, I'm just guessing. But the fact that the prices are relatively low and so much of it is for free, you really are kind of giving people the key to their own success where they can actually see if it's going to be something that fits their personal trading style before they necessarily have to put down a credit card number or start making some payments in the first place. So for...
Right. Well, and I think the key for me is, and I don't know of like, so I can't speak to like other guys that are out there, but I would say that the vast majority of the trading universe of people who try to coach and educate people on this don't actually show like all of their stuff, right? Like, so for me, go in and I record a video every single night, like
Wow.
whether my kid, like, and I don't know if you can see this right now in the video, but like sorry, I hit the camera, but like there's a house for my like daughter at my trading office, right? Like this is her pop-up house. Like I'm doing this at home with her, but I go in every night and record a video, whether I made money or not. Like, and I'm accountable to my members, just like I need to be accountable to myself. So I go in and record a video every single night and then throw it up there on YouTube. It goes public on YouTube like 20 days after, right? So you can't steal my trades.
Yeah.
But everything that I have. So like if I lose $1,000, right? Like a couple weeks ago, we lost like $1,500 in Solar City,
Wow.
right? Like, and I'm totally open about it. Like it was a trade, it went bad. We can talk about it. Like, you know, we could learn from it, whatever. But I posted a video and said like, I lost $1,500 on Solar City. Like it is what it is, right? But nobody does that in this industry. And I don't get it, but, or maybe there's not enough of us out there who do it, but I think there should be more people who do that.
No, I totally agree with you, and I think that that's part of the problem that that happens so much in the industry right now, and especially in the education industry, is that you see so many of these people that have their own education website that post so much profit all the time, but there's obviously days where they're not posting anything, where they probably had a red day. That is also important to learn for people, especially like in my stage of learning or our other viewers of stages of learning. It's definitely important to learn that even some people just as professional as you, people who make a living off of doing what this is, they have bad days as well. It's part of the process of learning, and it's how you make adjustments and how you make improvements, and it's how you end up making higher returns in the future.
Well, and I think even more so than that, like what I've learned as a business person in this industry now, like, and like, trust me, like we're not even close to being where I want, like OptionAlpha to be as like a brand and a company and like, serving a niche, right? But what I've definitely learned is like when I post my losing trades, I get so many more members who email me back and be like, yo, Kirk, that was great. Like, I know you lost money and that sucks. And I lost money too in that trade, but the fact that they understand why they lost money or what they could have done different next time, or like maybe our game plan, was a little bit different than what it usually is, or whatever the case is. I get more feedback from like videos where I lose money than I do from videos where I make money.
It's because it's also valuable information that
Right.
a lot of other people just don't have. They have too much pride to really put it up, and so
I don't know.
it's it's an equally important part of the education process. I
Exactly.
think.
Yeah.
But anyway, so let's keep going along with the interview a little bit. So I guess I was going to ask you why you started trading options, but we kind of did that a little bit. Let's see what.
I didn't start trading options though.
You didn't start trading options.
No, so I didn't start.
Okay, let's talk a little about that. So you started trading, I'm guessing, stocks, or did you start trading?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I did the same thing. Yeah, so I have the same progression. I got like a funny story about this. So I tell all members who like log in when they do like they watch like a video of like one of the first videos. I don't know if it's the first one or one of the first ones, but and I even talk about it in our podcast. But when I started, like I wanted to be a day trader, right? Like, cause I'm like, cool, like these guys day trade, like, the guys like, sitting back, like flip flops on the beach, like, yeah, I want to be that guy, right?
Yeah.
And right, like, I went to Wall Street, so I'm like,
$1,000 the first hour Wall Street opens,
like,
call it a day,
like,
have a
worked
couple
on
drinks.
Wall Street, I got the experience, I can do that crap, whatever, right? Went home, like, told my wife, like, yo, wife, like, I'm gonna be a day trader. She's like, okay, like, don't lose any money, right? Like, the first week that I traded, I lost like $5,000, and she's like, listen, like, if you're gonna do this, like, you can't be losing $5,000, right? And so that was tough. Like, and I would have weeks where I would make money, and then I'd have weeks where I'd lose money. Now, for me, that's not to say that it can't work for anybody else, because I can't speak to anybody else. For me, it never worked out. Like, I was just really bad at picking market direction. So when I finally figured out that, like, if I could trade options, and the way that I trade options, I don't necessarily have to pick a market direction, I'm totally better at that. Like, I'm just a math person. Like, my mind wraps around math much more than it wraps around like a chart pattern or a candlestick setup or like any of that stuff. So just for me, like how that works, like it was math based that kind of like led me to the options trading space.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so it allows you to kind of hedge your risks a little bit, and so make it so that it's not as so that you have a little bit more control kind of over your trades. I think as it's almost adds more
Yeah,
more tools to your tool belt, as opposed to just trading in stocks.
you get more
Uh,
options.
exactly.
Come on, you get
That's
more options. That's
there you
all
go.
it
Use the actual vocabulary. Just there we
is.
go.
Yeah, get more
Um, so let's see. Let's talk a little bit about some of the free features that are available. First of all, on Option Alpha. So a couple of those things were, you have options basics, entries and exit lessons, portfolio management courses, bullish strategies, neutral strategies, bear strategies, options expirations, and there I could keep going on, but I think I'll stop it there. Do you create all of this content yourself, or do you also have team members that help you out?
No, so it's all me. So it's
Okay.
all me doing it, which
Wow.
I don't know, good, bad, or indifferent. Like I guess I get a lot of people who say like,
It's
man, you got to hire
consistent.
some people to do it. And I've got a full-time assistant. I got like a podcast editor and
Okay.
like a content person that kind of helps with like scheduling. But like all the content is done by me, and that's how I think it should be, right? Like,
Yeah.
and I just haven't found somebody to kind of do that. So yeah, it's all done by me right now. And to tell you the truth, like I was just doing this yesterday. We're like sitting down and like going through. We just sent out a huge survey to our audience, basically like asking them what their biggest challenge is, and found out a lot of cool stuff that we can do different, right? Like so, I've really learned in this business that it's not just what I assume that people want to know, like or what they want to hear. I'm constantly surveying my members to see like am I doing the right things? And on some level, like I still think we're doing really good. On other levels, we found out that we're just not delivering like we're not delivering the content the way that they want to see it. Like it's just got to be a little bit of a tweak. So for me, it's going to be back to the drawing board again this year, and
Okay.
kind of revamping some of the way that we present the video training and some of the topics that we cover, because people are evolving and they're getting more sophisticated in this space, and we need to evolve with them.
Okay. Awesome. So you really are kind of, I think, taking more of a step. Really, I mean, you're really trying to make sure that the OptionAlpha.com is really catering to the clients, and it's not just going to be another like options education website. So
Look, and I tell these people like we launched a research report that took us a year to do, right? Like in we back tested technical analysis for 20 years, 17.434 million trades that we analyzed, right? Like it took our team basically a whole year to do it. And I spent like $600,000 in data and technology and software and people to do this, right? Like so I or not six figures, not $600,000, but I spent six figures to do this, and that's what I'm investing in. So like if people, obviously like we make money off of the website, but now we're taking that money and we're reinvesting it back into things that people ask us about, right? Like, because we always get the question like, Kirk, what technicals do I use? And I'm like, I don't know. I use MACD forever, but I don't know if MACD really works, right? Like, and now I've got the data to say, okay, it does or it doesn't, or like you got to use, RSI with this settings or that settings. Like now we know that information and we can give that back to our members as a really good, like valuable tool to help them make smarter trades, right?
of course. No, I mean it seems like you guys really do kind of do like a couple different like analyses of things that people really don't think about that. I don't know. Like I just remember on your YouTube, I think there was a proof that small moving averages don't work. Like a
Yeah.
video about that. So yeah,
Yeah.
you just I've done this for a little while now, and I've been on a lot of YouTube channels, and I've never seen any sort of video like that. That kind of disproves something that so many traders, day traders especially, use. So
I
it's
don't get it. I don't get it, man. Seriously, I literally, it blows my mind, like some of the stuff that's out there. And look, we didn't test everything, right? Like, so like, I know like we'll probably get comments on this thing because,
yeah, of
like,
course you're gonna
it's
get
like
some
I
comments.
always,
Yeah,
yeah, I always get like, controversy, like, well, you didn't test this, Kirk. Like, I get it. Like, don't like, please don't spam me with like, you didn't test it. Like we didn't test everything out there, but we tested the main stuff, right?
yeah,
And so like for me, I'm just gonna keep testing and researching everything that my members ask for, right? So like if they keep asking and if I get enough requests, we're gonna put together, something to do. It's like what we're doing right, like literally right now in the process of doing is doing all the same type of research we did for technical analysis, but now we're buying all this exchange data for options trading, like historically. I'm talking like
oh, okay,
15, 20 years of data, which is
wow,
not freaking cheap. To like those exchanges are making, I need to be in the exchange business selling data, but like we're buying all that data and now we're building models to backtest like option strategies. And I'm not talking about like testing an option strategy for 2 years. We're talking like okay, did this strategy work for 20 years?
Over
And
long periods of
yeah,
time
and if
to
it
make sure that
did,
it's
right, and if it did, like what was the like optimal setting? Like when do you get in? When do you get out? Like how do you adjust? Like all of that stuff that we try to teach. Now we're going to have like a lot more data behind kind of the numbers behind it.
wow. It's a extremely technical analysis. I mean, that's really impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah. It, yeah, you, wow. I'm a little bit lost for words now. I mean, like that seems like it's something that, I mean, like the last 20 years, I'm just kind of thinking about that now. Can imagine that that's probably is some expensive data, and it must take a lot of time
Right?
and a lot of computer
It's
programs to really kind of like run
and
through
I
all
don't
that. So,
understand. Trust me, like the guy that I have doing this, like I don't get any of that stuff. So that's why I got to pay him. Like he's like, we got to build a C++ database. I'm like, cool, whatever. Like as long as it works, like
okay,
we'll
yeah,
test it.
I
Yeah.
believe you. You know,
Yep.
I'll
Yep.
take your word for it.
Yeah.
So let's keep talking about some of the other features that are available on OptionAlpha.com. So I think you have a book, The Ultimate Strategy Guide. I think it's an ebook though, and that's also available for free download for the members. Correct
Yep.
me if I'm wrong.
Yep.
42 different blog posts. There's free guides and checklists, and then those are all of the things that are available in the basic free membership package. But then if you want to upgrade to the pro version, it's $99 per month, and that includes daily trading alerts, nightly video reviews, and access to the full portfolio. So can
Right.
you explain a little bit of just some of those features that the pro subscription includes?
Yeah, and like at the end of the day, like, and I love talking about this stuff. And although like I'm not like, I'm never like super motivated to like talk about like what we do. Like my feeling on this has always been that like you can come in and basically like look around our house as much as possible, and everything that you possibly need to make in my opinion, to make smarter trades and like how you trade options is all there for free.
Okay.
Like you do not need, and this is like I tell people, you don't need our membership to learn how to do you don't need to pay me to learn how to do this stuff, and it's all there for free, right? If you ever wanted to look at my trades on a daily basis, right? Because all of my trades are posted to YouTube 20 days after. So it's not like I hide them in this protected niche for like in this vault forever. Like I release them 20 days after so that you can see them, right? But if you ever wanted to see like what I'm really trading that day and watch the live video updates every night, great. Then you can upgrade to that, to a pro level and do that. And so like my feeling has always been is that I don't ever want to force people into that level to see all my training. So that's why I don't offer any training like beyond that in the pro level. Like pro level is just like, you want to see my trades, great, you can see them. I'll give you some support and feedback on the trades that we're doing so you can kind of follow along, and maybe you get started with some small trades by yourself, right? But like everything else, in my opinion, for most companies should be free. Like teach people how the heck you do stuff. And then if they want to take like an extra step and, more one-on-one type training, then you charge them for it. And that's just how we do, that's just how I believe the business should be run.
I totally agree with you. I mean, now we're living in the age of technology and the age of information. I mean, you should try to make as much of it available as possible. I mean, on the internet,
Totally.
and it's the best way to draw more people to your website. And obviously, you've done a pretty good job about that. Just talking about your numbers. So congratulations. And then also, yes, there's the elite version, which includes a couple other things as well. I'm not sure if you'd like to talk about that or if you.
Yeah, we could. I mean, we
Okay.
could like, yeah, we could real quick. It's not that big. I mean, elite is just like I always think like, for me, like if people are going to get more access to my time like directly, then it's just going to be a little bit more, right? So like pro, you get access to trading alerts. We can trade emails. I do like pro member calls, like onboarding. We talk about like what your plan is, like how to best use the pro membership. So we do all that. Elite membership is just like one step further, where every single weekend I do a live, like we call a strategy call on Sunday night, where we basically look at the entire portfolio. And this is like, for me, it's an opportunity to find out what everyone's questions are. Like,
Okay.
what do they have concerns about this week? Like, this past week was like, everyone was like, oh, what about gold? Or like, what about oil? Right. So like, we can talk about that, with just elite members. And then we can also look at new trades, right? So like we can look at, possibly making adjustments to XYZ position. So when I have elite members on the call on weekends, it's just another like step closer to like a one-on-one training with me.
Okay.
Like I used to do a lot of one-on-one training, and that was great, cool, whatever. But like I find that my time is best used in like these small group settings where I can coach and train some other people, and one person's question can be, helpful to the entire group. So that's just how we run it.
Okay. So the elite's a little bit more of a kind of a personal feel to it, and
Yeah.
okay. So okay, awesome. Let's see. How often do your trades typically last with your options?
Yeah, so we've got a really cool software that we developed that integrates with our broker, which my broker right now is Thinkorswim,
Okay.
and it only integrates with my broker right now. And we're gonna try to roll that out so that people can use it as well. Like I'm gonna be the test dummy for it, but the software basically tracks all of my trades, and then does like performance stats. So like if you go to OptionAlpha.com, you can see our performance, and it's all there, public, it's live, it's updated every day. And so there's different durations that we've tracked for different strategies. So I think our average duration on all of our trades right now, or like the time that we're in a trade, is about 27 days.
Okay.
And for me, that's okay. Like I don't want to be a day trader in options. I don't necessarily want to be a long-term trader. So I'd actually like it to be maybe a little bit shorter time period than 27 days.
Okay.
But some strategies are much longer than that. Like we found after like running all this, analysis on our own portfolio for 5 years, that basically we were in debit spread trades way too long, like 56, 57 days on average, right? Like that's way too long, in my opinion, for that type of trade to be in those trades. So it's all broken out there by category and strategy type. You can see all the stats again, like whatever it is now, it'll change in 2 seconds if I make a trade, right?
Okay, awesome. And then let me ask you one last little personal question. What did your returns look like for 2015?
Yeah, 2015 was decent. I mean, I think it was a flat year. We were up about 10% on everything that we had. Actually, a little under 10% on everything that we had. Really kind of like that last drop in the end was actually pretty decent for us
Oh, really? Okay.
in like August. And actually, I posted a video on YouTube we can link to in the show notes or whatever, but it wasn't actually, like we got hurt. And this is what I feel like always happens with options traders is we got hurt with the initial drop. Like the first day that the market dropped, this was back in August or September, whatever it was. That first day when just like things popped and dropped lower, that was our worst day. But then we started adding on more positions because I'm a volatility trader. So like as volatility was rising, we started adding more premium and more positions.
Gotcha.
Ended up being a really good like closeout to the year. We actually put more positions on in like that last 3 months of the year than we really had most of the rest of the year. So for me, kind of like I'm always concerned about just the initial drop or initial pop in markets. Recently, like the markets have dropped, and we've closed out a lot of trades that have been really good, right? Because we've been patient to get in. So I think that's part of the process. But so yeah, 2015, decent year. I wouldn't call it an amazing year by any stretch, but for me and what I want to do, like it was a decent year.
Okay. And then so are you kind of having the same problem, but in opposite now that we're starting to see a little bit of pop in the market, or I mean, just in the last couple of days, I mean, are you starting to have to change up some of your strategies to go back? I mean, obviously today's changed a little bit because it's kind of a down market today, at least the Nasdaq is. But
a little bit.
yeah.
Like my strategy has always been like to be as neutral as possible. So like I tell people all the time, and like this is one of the things I like harp on nonstop with trading is that like as a trader, and again going back to like I'm not good at picking directions, right? Like I get it, and neither are you, and neither is anybody else watching this video. Like nobody's good at picking direction. In fact, Goldman Sachs is probably the worst like stock picker in the entire history. Like, and they got all the information, all the power, right? So like why anyone believes that we can pick direction is like beyond me. So like I'm not good at picking direction, but I want to make sure that I have like a good balance of positions. So my goal is always to have as balanced of a portfolio as possible. Okay. Meaning I want to have some bullish trades, some bearish trades, and everything kind of balanced and neutral around the market. So in a couple days like today, right, like that we've had this week, kind of leading up to this week, the market's had a huge rally. And that doesn't mean that I'm getting more short. It just means that I'm adding more bullish positions. Okay. I think that might be a little bit different than what most people say, because you'll hear often, and actually all the time, you'll hear people say, like, when the market drops, you got to get long, right? And my thought process on that is always different. Like, if your portfolio was neutral heading into the drop, you're naturally long. Like, if the market's lower, you need it to go back higher so you can make more money. Like, as the market goes down, you naturally get more long. So you don't need more long positions to get longer than you already are and more bullish than you already are, right? Like, you need more bearish positions. So my feeling is always, I don't know, people always say different things like, trade the trend, trade what the market gives you. Like, I just feel if the market goes up, okay, maybe I add a couple more bearish or bullish positions, right? So like this week we've added a couple more bullish positions.
Yeah.
If the market turns back around, we'll add a couple more bearish positions, and we'll just like keep playing this like, cat and mouse game every, week with the market, trying to stay neutral.
The beauty of the options is that you're kind of prepared for anything that happens, and then if you kind of see that it's starting to change, you can kind of close some of those positions. And
yeah, and like the key for me is like you got to keep your trade size insanely small.
Yeah.
Like you can't go into this and be like, all right, 10 grand bullish, right? Like you got to go in like a couple contracts here, a couple there, a couple there. And so I think that's why it works.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Kirk. I think that's all the time that we have for today, but I really appreciate you talking with us. Again, that's Kirk Du Plessis from OptionAlpha.com. Did you have anything else that you wanted to add?
No, man, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and I look forward to talking with everyone online and sharing this for sure.
Awesome, Kirk. Well, hopefully we get to see some of your live content on TRDR.tv some point over the next couple months or
Sure.
anyway.
Sure.
But yeah, thank you very much, and I wish you the best of luck with your trades. Have a nice day.
Sounds good. Thanks, man.
Thank you. Thank you very much for joining us here on Trader TV. That was Kirk Du Plessis from OptionAlpha.com. I highly recommend, if you want to get some education on options, you go to check out his website or his YouTube video or his YouTube channel. He has a lot of free information up there that'll kind of give you some information to help get you started on options. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us today, and I wish you the best of luck in your trades. Have a nice day.